Hello, my name is Lucia Széplakyová. I attend primary school Gábora Betlena in Nové Zámky, and today I'm going to tell you a story about Babbity Rabbity and her cackling stump from J.K. Rowling. A long time ago, in a far-off land, there lived a foolish king who decided to have the power of magic. He commanded the head of his army to form a brigade of witch hunters and issue them with a pack of black hounds. In every village and town across the land there was announced, "Wanted by the king, an instructor in magic." No true witch or wizard dared to volunteer for the post. However, a charlatan with no magical powers saw a chance of enriching himself. He performed a few simple tricks which convinced the foolish king of his magical powers and was appointed the king's private magic master. The charlatan was given a large sack of gold for wands and other magical necessities. He stuffed the treasure safely in his own house, not knowing he was being watched by an old woman. Her name was Babbity, and she was the washerwoman at the palace. Babbity saw the charlatan snap 2 twigs off of one of the king's trees and disappear into the palace. The charlatan gave one of the twigs to the king and said, "It will only work if you're worthy of it." Every morning, the charlatan and the foolish king walked out into the palace grounds where they waved their wands and shouted nonsense at the sky. One morning, loud cackling reached the king's ears. Babbity was sitting at the window of her tiny cottage and she was laughing and laughing. "I must look most undignified to make the old washerwoman laugh. So," said the king, "I grow weary of practice. Tomorrow morning you will assist me to perform magic in behalf of my lords and ladies, and if anyone laughs at me, I shall have you beheaded." The king stormed off back to the palace, leaving the charlatan afraid and alone. He approached the window of Babbity and saw the little old lady sitting at the table, polishing a wand. In the corner behind her, there were the king's sheets washing themselves. The charlatan understood at once that Babbity was a true witch. "Crone!" he roared. "Your cackling has cost me dear. If you fail to assist me to perform magic tomorrow morning, you will be the one torn apart by the king's hounds." Babbity just smiled and assured the charlatan that she will do everything in her power to help. The following morning, all of the lords and ladies from the kingdom assembled in the palace grounds. The king climbed up on stage in front of them. "Firstly, I shall make this lady's head disappear," cried the king, pointing his twig at the noblewoman. From inside the bush nearby, Babbity pointed her wand at the head, causing it to vanish. Loud was the admiration of the king. "Next, I shall make that horse fly." Babbity pointed her wand at the horse and it rose high into the sky. The crowd was even more amazed by their magical king. And now, the captain of brigade of witch hunters ran forwards. "Your Majesty, Saber died today of eating poisonous toadstool. Bring him back to life, Your Majesty, with your wand." The king pointed his twig at the dead dog. But inside the bush, Babbity just smiled and did not trouble to lift her wand, for no magic can raise the dead. "Why doesn't it work?" said the king. "There, your majesty, there!" shouted the charlatan, pointing at the bush. "A wicked witch, blocking your magic with her own evil spells! Seize her, somebody, seize her!" Babbity fled from the bush and vanished from sight. The pack of black hounds was found barking around an old tree. "She has turned herself into a tree," said the charlatan. "Cut her down, your majesty. That is the way to treat evil witches." They brought an axe and they cut the old tree down. Suddenly, they were stopped by the sound of loud cackling. "Fools! No witch or wizard can be killed by being cut in half. Take the axe if you do not believe me, and cut the grand sorcerer in two." As the captain of the witch hunters raised his axe, the charlatan fell to his knees, screaming for mercy, admitting to all of his wickedness. As he was being dragged away to the dungeons, Stump was cackling more loudly than ever. "By cutting a witch in half, you have unleashed a dreadful curse upon your kingdom. Every stroke of harm that you inflict upon my fellow witches and wizards will feel like a next stroke into your own side." At that, the foolish king fell to his knees too. He promised the Stump that he would issue a proclamation protecting all of the witches and wizards in the kingdom. "Very good," said the Stump. "But you have not yet made amends to Babbity." Anything at all," cried the foolish king. "You will build a statue of Babbity upon me." The king agreed and promised to have the statue made out of pure gold. Suddenly, an old white rabbit with a wand between her teeth jumped from under the stump. Babbity ran and hopped away, far away from the palace grounds. But even after the gold statue of the washwoman stood upon the tree stump, no witch or wizard was ever harmed in the kingdom again. Thank you for your attention.